Hey guys, it's Daniel. The following is a quote from Duff McKagan where he shares his thoughts on Nirvana. Later in this video, I'm going to read to you a quote from Kurt Cobain where he discusses Guns N' Roses. It's not clear exactly when the Duff McKagan quote is from, but I believe it's from the 2000s. Quote, "I was never really friendly with them at the time. I think we tried to get them to open on one of those tours during the Illusion time, and they didn't want to. And then some bad blood started between, well, Axl had some bad blood. I think Axl might have taken it personally, and might have said something in the press, although he was a Nirvana fan. And Kurt was a pretty cynical, funny guy. The punk rock humor in Seattle, if you didn't get it, you might get offended. I think Kurt said something at the MTV VMAs in '92. They had their child, Frances Bean, and wanted Axl to be the godfather of the child. And Axl got huffy about it because he thought Kurt was trying to take the piss out of him. It was no big deal. If it was two mid-level bands and that happened, nobody would have heard about it. But because the media eye was so tuned into both bands, it got blown out of proportion. And then you can't downplay it. Then it's a war between two bands. It's like, oh brother. I bought a house in Seattle in '92, and I was flying home a couple of years later. Flew out of LAX, and Kurt was sitting an aisle over from me. That's the first time I ever really talked to him. He told me he just left Exodus, was trying to get clean, and didn't know how to. I could relate because I was trying to get clean at the same time. We talked about the stuff we had in common. He seemed bummed. We went to baggage claim together when we got to Seattle. A friend of mine came to get me, and him and Kurt went out to have a smoke. My friend came back in, and I said, maybe you should have him come to my house. He seems bummed out. He went out to get Kurt, but Kurt's car had come and picked him up." End quote. The following is from Kurt Cobain regarding Guns N' Roses, particularly the MTV VMA incident. His retelling of the story is a bit different. Quote, "There is a war going on in the high schools now between Nirvana kids and Guns N' Roses kids. It's really cool. I'm really proud to be a part of that. I can't think of a dang thing about Guns N' Roses that I like. I can't even waste my time on that band because they're so obviously pathetic and untalented. I used to think that everything in the mainstream pop world was crap, but now that some underground bands have been signed with majors, I now take Guns N' Roses as more of an offense. I have to look into it more. They're really talentless people, and they write crap music, and they're the most popular rock band on the earth right now. I can't believe it. They actually tried to beat us up at the MTV VMAs. Courtney and I were with the baby in the eating area backstage, and Axl walked by. So Courtney yelled, 'Axl, Axl, come over here.' We just wanted to say hi to him. We think he's a joke, but we just wanted to say something to him. So I said, 'Will you be the godfather of our child?' I don't know what had happened before that to piss him off, but he took his aggressions out on us and began screaming bloody murder. Later, after we played our show and were walking back to our trailer, the Guns N' Roses entourage came walking towards us. They have at least 50 bodyguards apiece. Huge, gigantic guys ready to kill for Axl at all times. They didn't see me, but they surrounded Chris, and Duff McKagan wanted to beat Chris up, and the bodyguards started pushing Chris around. He finally escaped, but throughout the rest of the evening, there was a big threat of either Guns N' Roses themselves or their goons beating us up. We had to hide out. Since then, every time Axl has played a show, he said some comment about me and Courtney. When he was in Seattle, he said, Nirvana would rather stay home and shoot drugs with their wives than tour with us. That's why there's this big feud in most of the high schools. It's hilarious. He is insane, though. I was scared. I couldn't possibly beat him up. I know he would beat me up if he had the chance.